Solid, and Coltrane. All right. Well, we'll just start. Today's June 14th. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Sunday. We're at the Spin Coffee and Vinyl Record Shop in San Antonio, Texas. Going to be talking about new Turnstile album, Never Enough. Maybe go into a little bit about our appreciation for them. Talk about Glow On a little bit, and then we'll end it with the 3 records of the year, or albums of the year we've liked so far. Shit, man. But before anything, I would like to just make a point. Everybody knows yesterday, essentially No King's Day.
Right.
My man David was here in San Antonio at one of the protests, and I think it just goes without saying, man, if you see yourself as a good person, you could be a Christian, you could not be, whatever. There's no politicizing this. It's hard for me to stand by while families get ripped apart, snatched from, in the middle of the night, people wearing masks. That's just something that I can't condone. It doesn't matter if you're left wing, right wing, GOP, liberal. The one thing is that we're all humans, and we have a humanitarian duty to protect the people in need. So
crazy how people want to wear masks now, but 2020, I can't breathe, I can't wear a mask all of a sudden. But when it comes to ripping people apart, now you can wear a mask, hide your identity. So the hypocrisy is there.
We'll get into the stuff that we're here for, but I really want to make that point. I don't condone, I don't support anything that's going on as far as one person or a group of people dictating what the rest of the country goes through. So I'm glad that people are starting to recognize and continuing to recognize that it's not liberals versus Republicans. It's not any of that stuff. It's the people that have the power, the people that have the money, they control it, and they're trying to divide us and set us apart. And I'm glad that people are waking up and not standing for that shit. So kudos to everybody who's doing anything that they can to support and show that their love and appreciation for people, their brothers and sisters. At the end of the day, we're not fucking, this was a country taken from people on stolen land. Right. So there's no such thing as an immigrant when we live on stolen land. So please remember that. Nah, man, if you don't have anything else to say, we could get started on talking about Never Enough.
Let's do it.
Just first question. Did you like the album?
Yes. Yes, that has been my summer anthem, or a Turnstile summer for me.
Okay, Hot Boy Summer?
Yes, so the soundtrack to the summer, even though we're in the middle of June, has just been straight Turnstile. So it's not enough. I can't get enough.
Can never get enough. I will also say that I appreciated the album as well. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I think, me and David are similar. We have, enjoy hardcore music, enjoy, other genres that kind of take reference from that. But I think for me, and I might be speaking, I'll just speak for myself, I didn't fully appreciate Turnstile until Glow On came out. So, their first couple records, that's honestly around the first time I started to get more into fucking hardcore, around, I think, 2013, 2014. So 10, 11 years ago is when I really started diving deep into different artists. So at the time, I didn't, Turnstile was cool. That was not something, though, that I kept going back to, until Glow On came out. And I just saw the appreciation that they had for other genres of music and how they made it a point to put that in their sound and then make it a new sound. I really enjoyed the record. I don't know about you, but the singles that they dropped, Never Enough, Birds, Seeing Stars.
Yes.
Yeah, they did the combo. And then I think right before the album came out, I think they dropped the video for Look Out For Me.
I think
believe.
So as well.
I didn't watch it because I'm kind of particular, though, because I really enjoyed Seeing Stars, Birds, and Never Enough.
Yes.
But I get to a point where if I keep seeing singles, I want to enjoy this in its totality. So I didn't listen to the last song, Look Out For Me, when they dropped it as a single. But
right.
all those other songs, singles, I was really excited. So I was interested to see the direction that they went in. David, were you I don't know, man. I think the artwork kind of did it for me as far as like it felt like it was going to be a similar, not similar sounding album, but they were going to take, you know, pieces that they built on from the previous album.
Yeah, you can definitely tell it's like a continuation of Glow On, telling that story or continuing that sound, however you want to spin it, which isn't a bad thing, right? It's nice that they found not a consistent sound, but something that people liked and enjoyed and said, hey, we'll do it again. But in a different way. There's a lot of easy pickups in there too, of like where they drew inspiration from, like in Birds, during the final chorus. You can kind of hear No Doubt's Have a Good Time type riff in there, similar. So it's a very fun album. It's really nice, easy listening to for any occasion, whether it's just chilling, going to the gym, whatever you see fit. It's something that you can put on and listen through completely without being bothered or be like, oh, I gotta skip this, whatever type deal. So it's really nice and easy to pick up on.
That's the one thing that I continue to appreciate, because the way that I position, or the way that I describe Glow On to people that weren't familiar with Turnstile is, I said it was a very accessible album.
Yes.
And not in the sense that it's something that's simple or like dumbed down or anything like that, but it's just, they were so confident in the sound that they were trying to create, you know,
right.
it lended itself to be like, okay, this is, I hear exactly what they're trying to do and it sounds really good. And just I keep talking about Glow On, we're talking about Never Enough. That's crazy. But I just want to preface that, like, I have such an appreciation for that album, and you know how it flowed into this next one. Songs like, my favorite song would probably be, and this just came a couple of days ago, I listened to the album more than a few times, but I think my favorite song is Light Design. Like, just how melodic it is, and it's just something that hits your soul in a way, in a very cheesy way. I really appreciate how they can mix hardcore and melodic sounding. And I think that's a very delicate balance, because for me sometimes it can sound a little, you know, too much if it's not done the right way, but I think they do it perfectly.
For me, I would say my favorite song off the album, if I had to pick one, is their third track, I Care.
I like that one.
I like that song. And then it's easy to say with this album too, you can tell like they didn't go in writing this album with a certain sound in mind or like a certain expectation. They just wrote freely and put out, well, two amazing records, again referencing back to Glow On and now Never Enough. It wasn't like we're gonna keep the same sound over and over, which is fine with artists who do it, but with Turnstile being more independent, I guess, if you will, writing how they want to write, and actually sticking to writing what they want to write, not saying, oh, we're going to write what we want to write and still follow what a label tells them to, like, how they should sound and whatever. Because you can see the complete 180 that they do from Step to Rhythm to Glow On, which they still keep their hardcore, like, roots, but if you go into Glow On expecting like an actual hardcore, like Terror, Foundation, stuff like that, no, you're not going to get that, which is okay. I know music is subjective, so that's what allows you to like appreciate, like, you can still like both worlds of like this pop,
for sure,
rhythm, or melodic, how you mentioned, hardcore. They can all blend it into one and actually it makes sense, not just a hot mess of sound.
That's another reason that I enjoy them so much. They could even, so I went back, because you know, you hear comments about, even when Glow On came out, I didn't hear a lot of comments about it, but I heard more comments about it when Never Enough came out. Just people saying like, oh, this isn't a hardcore band, or this isn't, you know, they changed their sound or they sold out. And, you know, you could argue about that all day. I think the point at the end of the day is bands should be allowed to grow and make good music. And you could tell that these are two projects that they care passionately about. So if it's not for you, that's fine. But I think the notion that, you know, hardcore bands have to stay and sound the exact same and then never make any money or never, you know, be able to use their art as an expression of who they are. That was, when did Step to Rhythm come out? Was that before? 2014. So that was 11 years ago. Would you think that you would be the same person you are mentally, emotionally or even artistically. So the fact that people would get upset that their style isn't still a hardcore band is kind of silly to me. And I would venture people that feel that way to kind of try and listen to other things. Kind of expand your sound a little bit. There's an appreciation for music everywhere, so I think that part is kind of silly, but
Yeah.
that's just me. I mean, hey, this too, like we both were able to secure tickets to
Yeah.
and you mentioned the summer anthem. It's going to be dope because they're coming to Texas. I'm going to see them in Houston. Boy David's going to see them in Austin. But it's the next day, right?
Literally the next day.
And it's going to be in October. So, but the fact that you mentioned the summer hits, this is going to play, throughout the summer, and it's going to be
into the fall.
Yeah, I think it's just a fun album, and I think there's not really a lot to dissect. I really came into this. I asked David because we both enjoy Turnstile. I was like, okay, I want to talk about this album.
Yeah.
There's not a lot to say. I mean, it's melodically it sounds good. Sonically it sounds great. I just really think that they've taken that extra step into curating the sound, like you said, that they want to create.
Yeah.
Not ruled by the label or not ruled by multiple influences. They all kind of are in one accord with that. So.
Right. And then I have to go back and check what songs they were because I don't remember off the top of my head, but it does feature Hayley Williams of Paramore and Faye Webster as well.
Faye Webster? What?
Yes. I forgot what song. I have to go back and look for it. It's towards
Was it on the track list?
It's a hidden feature in the album.
That's crazy.
But it does have Hayley Williams of Paramore and Faye Webster.
How do I want to position this? Because I don't want to ask you straight up, like, which one do you prefer? Because that's...
Like Glow On or Never Enough?
Yeah.
I'll say Glow On. Not that Never Enough is bad, obviously not, right? But if there's no Glow On, there's no Never Enough.
True that.
So you have to appreciate what came first, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Plus, that's kind of... I don't want to say that's what gave them their break. That sounds crazy to say, but...
In a way, though, like into mainstream popularity.
To mainstream popularity, yes, because like they got their Taco Bell ad with Holiday, and that's what started the whole.
Dude,
they sold out discourse.
Oh yeah, once you get into a Taco Bell commercial, you sold out. Ask Scal, the same thing.
Yeah, which they just played the first day to Warped Tour yesterday, and they had a huge crowd. So for somebody that's sold out and is so bad and blah blah blah, they sure did have a good turnout.
Good turnout, yeah, man. I'm all for people being introduced to music at a different time. I'm not about gatekeeping. I'm not about. It's okay to be one of the first people to be like, oh yeah, I heard this band when they had 30 fans. That's cool, and I understand people have a passion and they have an attachment to certain things, but it's all about. I think music is all about growth. So once you get to the point where you establish your fan base, it's okay to try something else.
My biggest, kind of like piggyback off that, my biggest thing is like people who are like, how you mentioned they've been fans since day one, and they kind of like shame like newer fans, like the whole like I listen to them longer, so I'm a bigger fan than you. Like I think it's, especially with certain mainstream bands, well, I don't want to say mainstream bands, but more popular bands like Bad Omen, Sleep Token, certain fans have like this parasocial relationship because like, oh, I've listened to the band for this long, or I know everything about them, and okay, that's great, but like that's why Sleep Token and Bad Omens release certain songs about those types of fans that are too invasive of their personal lives and privacy, thinking like they're best friends and whatever, so it's kind of weird that you can't allow people to be fans of bands or musicians that you like because you've been listening to them for X amount of months, years, weeks, whatever. It's dumb.
That's totally a good way to put it. I think about it like this. I started getting into punk and hardcore super seriously in like 2013, 12-ish years ago, and a lot of the music I listen to, I have an appreciation for the history behind it. So like I listen to jazz, listen to blues, just the history, the time period, learning about those artists. I say all that to say everybody was a newbie, I guess, at one point. Yeah. So even these people that are saying like, hey, I've been listening to them since the beginning, there's always somebody that's been listening before you. And the more music that you listen to, you realize how much music there is out there.
Yeah.
There's so much music out there, so much great music out there amongst different genres that you're going to stumble upon something late, and that's totally okay.
Yep.
So, think about that next time you put on your pretentious hat and try to act like you're a gatekeeper. Like, everybody gets something for the first time, and I think it's on the people that have known the artist to be like, hey, you like this album? Check out their other stuff. And I think that's the relationship we should foster and cultivate amongst fans. And getting to, I guess, I like Glow On better as well. But the reason that I asked you is because the album could be great and the next album could be good or not as good as the previous one, but there should be nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. We'll take Sleep Token, for example. So,
talk on it.
This Place Will Become Your Tomb, their second LP. 10 out of 10, no skips. Great album from them. Then you roll into Take Me Back to Eden, which was good. Kind of, you see them influenced with other genres in their music, which is okay, right? It's still a great album. And then you roll into their latest, Even Arcadia, where you're kind of like, what are we doing here? So, again, it's not bad. They're one of my favorite bands, but I feel like being able to say that somebody is your favorite band, you're allowed to criticize them within reason, right?
Sure.
Because sometimes they're going to put out something you don't like, and it is what it is, right? So, even Arcadia, their latest album, took me a couple listens through to actually like grasp and appreciate the album. I like it. Not my favorite. Like I said, This Place Will Become Your Tomb, their second one, is just top tier, chef's kiss. But you can kind of see the progression of like, not a fall off, but how it changes and it makes you feel different.
Yeah. For
me, personally. I'm sure some fans will agree. Some will be like, no, every song is a hit, banger, bop, whatever they call it nowadays. Yeah, which, okay, whatever, but to each their own. But like, I feel like if you can't criticize your favorite artist, again, within reason,
sure.
I don't feel like you're really appreciating music or what they're putting out. You're just falling in this bandwagon of like, oh, banger after banger after banger, whatever. It's
so weird, like how, not polarizing, but how, especially on the internet, and I guess, the climate that we're in, not the climate that we're in, but just the culture that we're in, everything's on the internet. But you look at something, especially an album from a popular musician, like people have to go out of their way to either say it's the greatest shit in the world or it's the worst shit in the world. There's no middle ground. You can't have a happy medium. Yeah, so it's just like, I think the internet has kind of ruined that a little bit for people, because the first, you just mentioned Sleep Token. I'm not necessarily a fan of Sleep Token. David put me on to their most recent album, and I listened to it, and there was a few songs that I really enjoyed. And then, you asked me my thoughts on it, and then there was one song that I didn't like that most people didn't like.
Yeah, I think it was Past Self.
Yeah, it was something, but there was a lot of like, they used a lot of R&B, different genres. That's the stuff that I appreciate, when bands could take that risk and try and mold things together to make it one cohesive sound. I always give that a chance, but I enjoyed it. But like I said, if I ever became a fan, like that probably would be the album I'm like, oh yeah, listen to this. But then, to your point, you're like, no, I did like it, but there's stuff other than that I prefer. So I just think, having a vast discography, that doesn't have to be like a wide ranging sound, but just having something that a fan can be like, this is my favorite album, and somebody else could be like, well, this is mine too, and just have a healthy discussion.
I got a question for you that I just thought of.
What's your question?
How do you feel about bands that gain popularity being labeled as industry plants?
We had this conversation before.
So, for example, when Scowl got their popularity and got their Taco Bell endorsement, everybody was like, oh, industry plant, industry plant, industry plant.
People use that. I think people use that as a word to... it's low-key hating. People use that as a reason to be like, I don't like this new stuff that people are dropping, but people like it. If I don't like it, there must be something in the water. Right. So Scowl, they have been 7-8 years. They've been a band for a while. Yeah. And so the idea that an industry, and the concept of industry plant, I think is a little vague, because to me, an industry plant is somebody that's been manufactured by a studio or whatever to make algorithm popular style music. But I don't know if industry plants can be created if they've already had a foundation put in place. But that could be totally wrong. So when I look at a band like Scal, I just, people deserve to expand on their sound, and it's okay if you don't like it. I love Scal. I don't, and the most recent album is, I appreciate the direction that they're taking and trying to, continue to grow their sound, and they sound good. I'm not too sure. Yeah, people go quick to their industry plant because I don't like them, but other people like them. So there must be something wrong. I'm like, dude, it's okay. You don't have to like it. But yeah, industry plant, I think that's a silly term. I think people use it freely without really thinking about why that is. There's one band, crazy enough, that I've heard people say as an industry plant, and then still in the hardcore scene, Speed.
Oh yeah.
I've heard that a few times, and I'm just like, okay, it's because they're from Australia? Is it because they're into like, gym culture? So it's really weird. I don't know. Some people might need to redefine that term for us. We need a smart person to put it in Webster so we can freaking figure out what it means. But I'm definitely against the industry plant label.
Hell yeah.
14. So we're about halfway through the year. David is always a person that is listening to new music. He's in the know on a lot of shit. I'm more of a person. I feel like I listen to a lot of music. I mean, I know I do, but a lot of the music I listen to is stuff that has already been created. So I've been consciously over these last couple years trying to stay in the know on different artists, different albums that come out in the year that we're in. So I asked David to tell me what his top 3 records of the year are so far, and I can share mine as well. Do you have it? Because I could pull mine.
Yeah, I got mine, so I guess I'll go first. So I'm going to do 3 albums and 1 EP.
That works.
That I've been listening to in a heavy rotation. So number 1 of the year so far for me is Spiritbox's Tsunami Sea. Beautiful album from Eternal Blue. How do I explain this? The way Courtney wrote this album with her husband Mike, it deals a lot with mental health. So the metaphor of Tsunami Sea is just like the destruction that it causes and stuff like that. So her speaking about like mental health and like how, not taking care of yourself and letting yourself spiral, crash out, whatever, is kind of like a tsunami, like, and the destruction it brings upon yourself, others. So with that album of her speaking out about her own, but just how to deal with it in general, is just incredible album. Mike, her husband, who's the guitarist, incredible fucking riffs in there. Best song off of it, I'm gonna go with we're gonna go Soft Spine. Soft Spine's really fucking good. My number 2 album.
Is this in order, by the way?
It is in order.
Okay.
It is in order.
Dope.
So number 2 is the Callous Daoboys, I Don't Want to See You in Heaven.
Okay.
Incredible album. Incredible group of guys and girls that wrote this album. It's just something new, refreshing into like the metalcore scene that's not just chorus breakdown, chorus breakdown, chorus breakdown. You get a little bit of everything. You get some jazz, you get some hip hop, you get some traditional, of course, metalcore. You're gonna get your breakdowns and your riffs and stuff like that, but it's just something different and refreshing to hear from these guys. Favorite song, all of them.
Every single
all
one.
Of them. There's a song for anything to do. Second one, this one's probably gonna throw you for a loop.
Third one.
She just released it in April of this year. Her name is Oklou. It's an album called Choke Enough. It's like a dream pop album.
Oh shit. Okay.
When I listen to this album, it's always when I'm about to go to bed or if I'm just chilling. Like once you play that first track, you kind of just feel yourself like ascend and just be calm and cool and relaxed. She got introduced to me, let's say like last year. I was watching some sets from Outbreak Fest and Sound and Fury, and people who were interviewed were talking about her a lot. So I checked her out, and it's a very good like shoegazy dream pop album. Choke Enough. So if you ever just like, I need to chill, I need something soft to listen to, but background noise, her album Choke Enough is really good. And then favorite song is the self-titled Choke Enough. Really good. Her opening song to the album, I forgot the name of it, but it's very, very good. It kind of sets the tone for what the album's going to sound like.
Hell yeah.
So those are my top 3 of the year so far in June. I know we talked about Turnstile and all that. Yeah. It didn't really seem fair to exclude these other people.
Yeah, it's relatively early.
Because it just came out, last week, 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah, about 8 days.
Not to say that it's bad, but I want to give other people a mention who've been out earlier this year that are playing. And then for my EP of the year so far is French Police's Espara. I love French Police. I love dark wave music, whether it's just trying to catch a vibe at night or have a good time out with your friends, whatever. I feel like there's always an occasion to play French Police or similar bands like Twin Tribes and stuff like that. Favorite song off of Espera is their opening track, French Tips.
Okay.
The majority of the songs in Spanish, which is fine, but I mean, even if you don't know Spanish, just listening to like the vibe of the song and everything like that, you can catch yourself enjoying it and stuff like that. So shout out French Police for that. But that's going to be my 3 albums and EP of the year so far.
That is a dope combination of records. So appreciate that. And that's the goal of all this. It's one person watching, 10 people, 100 people. As long as, we're facilitating and recommending dope shit, that's the goal. So my top 3, first album that I'm going to mention as my top album of the year, delving into rap, goes by the name of Billy Woods. He dropped that album, I think it was in the beginning of April, called Gollywog. And if people aren't familiar with Billy Woods, he is a very abstract, very, I guess, vivid, definitely off-the-cuff type rapper, very obscure, delves in a lot of themes, dealing with depression, dealing with just a lot of things that you wouldn't hear it in a conventional rap record, more often than not. But this album, Gollywog, has a lot of great underground production. Kenny Segal, I think Alchemist did a track or 2, but yeah, the way that Billy Woods raps, man, it's just he is a spokesperson. He is a poet. He is a curator of great music. So what was
the album name?
Gollywog. So if you listen to kind of off the cuff weirdo shit, it's definitely an album to check out. I got introduced to Billy Woods, probably about 7 or 8 years ago, and I kid you not, since 2018, he's probably dropped 6 or 7 albums that would be a classic hip hop record. So Billy Woods, check him out if you haven't listened to him. He's also in a duo group called Arm & Hammer, and they have a few albums that came out over the last few years, so definitely something to check out. If you were just wanting to listen to a song off the album, I would probably go, it was one of the singles that came out, it's called Misery. And it's just an interesting way he tells a story about, certain touchy subjects, but definitely a great listen. Highly recommended. The second album, I would say, it's funny, I was talking about Never Enough, but this album actually came out on the same day. Frankie and the Witch Fingers. The album is Trash Classic, I believe. Yes, Trash Classic. So Frankie and the Witch Fingers, oh my God, I don't know how I would describe them. Psychedelic, punk, proto-punk, new wave. They just mix a lot of sounds, and they sound really, really fucking good live. I saw them for the first time actually 3 or 4 months ago. They did a live set on KEXP, and it was just like, it's one of those things where you see a musician or you see an artist, and immediately you're like, okay, they have it. Like you can't really explain it. I couldn't explain it at the time, but I was like, this band has it. And so they've dropped quite a few albums over the last few years, and I've checked out a lot of it. But this most recent album, Trash Classic, I think is a good culmination of all their sounds. Very fast paced, very animated, and just definitely a lot of different genres that'll put you in an upbeat mood for sure. I don't know if I have any songs. I mean, the title track, Trash Classic, is a really good song, but they have quite a few. Let's see, the last album. Ooh, I think I'm gonna go. So it's by this musician. Her name is May Simonis. The album title is Animaru. So she is I guess a pop musician, but she does a lot of classical sounding music, jazz sounding, bossa nova. A lot of her lyrics are in English and in Japanese, which is really, really dope. And she just has a really interesting sound. She has a backing band. I think they do some classical stuff. So they're classically trained. So it's just a really, really soothing sound. Her voice is beautiful. The playing is beautiful, and just the type of sounds that she's trying to create. They sound very fresh and very original, even though they're taking blend from, like I said, jazz, bossa nova, classical music. She even had a song that had like a few math rock riffs. So that was really, really, really cool. I just love hearing musicians and artists that are trying to encapsulate, things that have been developed before us, but also, putting their own twist on it. So those are my 3 albums. Check that shit out. David has recommended 4 great projects as well with me. But once again, this is Music with Friends. We're about to do some weird shit. But happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I'm a father as well, so send me my praise. Just kidding. That's Music with Friends, y'all. Peace out. Thank you, sir.